The latest. Thank you for love and support. I appreciate you all. We know that DRC hasn't known peace for a very long time, and our leaders have decided to meet in Tanzania to find a solution to what is happening in DRC. Congo is supposed not to be suffering, but Congo today is suffering because of the mineral resources. And these people are doing everything possible to keep Congo in chaos so that we will never rise up. Russia have also voiced out to say that M23 and Rwanda have to move out of DRC. According to Russia, what they are doing isn't the best. That the international people with their hands that are supplying weapons to the M23 rebel groups to keep causing the harm because of the natural resources in Congo have to put an end to that, because it is injustice. That look at the people that are dying. Some people are sitting somewhere and they are benefiting from the natural resources, and that these natural resources are blood natural resources. And they take a stand against that. The international whatsoever that are sponsoring and fueling this conflict have to desist from doing that. And Rwanda and M23 should put their interests aside and reconsider, because the mineral resources that are in Congo belong to the people of Congo.
Господин председатель,
Mr. President,
благодарим
we'd like
заместителя
to thank the Deputy Special Representative of the Secretary General, Vivian van der Peer, for her briefing.
Приветствуем участие
We
в заседании
welcome meeting the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Teresa Banga, and the representative of the other countries who've requested the floor under Rule 37.
Уважаемые коллеги, 2
Distinguished
дня назад
colleagues,
мы
2
встречались в
days
этом
ago
зале
we met
и
in the chamber
обсуждали
and discussed
тревожные
the
развития
worrisome
ситуации на
developments
востоке
in the
страны.
situation in the eastern
Последние
DRC.
48
Over the
часов
past 48 hours, the situation has significantly deteriorated, especially with the seizure of Goma, where there are more than 1 million civilians located. Russia firmly condemns the actions of M23. We call for a swift cessation of hostilities and a withdrawal of the rebels of the illegal armed formation from the towns, villages and territory they've seized. We also urge external forces to cease their support for M23 and to recall their military units. There's a need without delay to resume the negotiation process in Rwanda. We must not allow a spillover of the escalation which could threaten the lives of people on both sides of the border and is likely to turn into an interstate conflict on a regional scale. We are seriously concerned by the humanitarian repercussions of what's going on. In front of our very eyes, the already difficult situation in North Kivu is turning into an utter humanitarian disaster. Goma de facto is cut off from the outside world. This may have serious consequences for the inhabitants of the town and the IDPs who have fled there. Once again, we would like to express our condolences to the families of the civilian victims of the DRC, the UN peacekeepers, and the fallen SADC soldiers. We stand in solidarity with the governments of the DRC and those states who've lost their service personnel. We wish them speedy recovery. We'd like to underscore that Russia unequivocally condemns the attacks on peacekeepers. It's absolutely unacceptable. We firmly support the UN peacekeeping mission in the stabilization mission in the DRC, its leadership, and the blue helmets. We also condemn any attacks and acts of aggression regarding international diplomatic representation. Such actions have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with peaceful demonstrations. We urge Kinshasa to ensure the protection of foreign missions and diplomatic staff, pursuant to the Vienna Convention and its international obligations. The violence in eastern DRC needs to stop. However, there's no military path to resolve this crisis. It is absolutely clear that this is only possible as a result of political agreements. We're convinced that the Rwanda process remains the best forum where agreements can be reached. We carefully listen listened to the representative of Angola during the meeting of the council on Sunday. Angola clearly stated that the only obstacle to preventing a signature of a reconciliation document between Kinshasa and Kigali was the issue of cessation of a government interaction with the illegal armed formations, and primarily with the M23. Without settling the status of this group as part of the inter-Congolese dialogue, any attempts to improve the situation between the DRC and Rwanda will not bear lasting fruit. Here, there is an urgent need for the resumption of the Nairobi process and the pushing forward of similar regional initiatives. There's no alternative to this. Mr. President, attempts to settle the crisis will also not bear fruit if the countries of the Great Lakes region do not take decisive measures to combat the illegal exploitation and smuggling of natural resources, the lion's share of which, as we all know, come from the eastern DRC, which is beset by instability. There's a need for extra-regional players and large transnational corporations to review their relationship with the use of these resources, because in their interest there's this ongoing illegal supply of blood minerals. These states have all instruments available to them to stop the hot phase, so to speak, of the conflict and to exert pressure on the parties so they return to negotiations. They must be harnessed to protect people's lives and to stop the suffering of hundreds of thousands of civilians. Unfortunately, we've all seen that the statement of the Council has not stopped the M23, and those who support this group from seizing Goma and continuing their hostilities. Russia, from its side, will do everything possible, including through here in the Council, to stop the escalation and to restore prospects for diplomatic settlement in the interest of stabilizing the situation in the eastern DRC. Thank you very much.
Always we sit there and we call our leaders to have African solution to African problems. These people that have all come to give us peace, yet we have an organization called African Union. Why will people move out of their continent to Africa, to come and solve our problems for us? Must we sit down in this 21st century for people to come from somewhere to now come and resolve the conflicts that we have? Why can't our leaders do the needful? Why can't we unite and solve our own problems? Why must it be that always, whatever that have to do with the African, people from somewhere must always come to Africa to now solve it? This is why always they tell us that we cannot govern ourselves. We are not mature to govern ourselves. Because if after we claim we had the independence and we still cannot resolve our internal affairs, even though we say we have an organization, we still need people to come into Africa to solve the problems that we have in Africa, then we are truly not ready to govern ourselves, as these people are saying, because we give them the opportunity, we prove ourselves every blessed day to these people. Which nation, which continent have issues and they have ever invited you people there? Let's take Europe. Those people that are sponsoring and fueling whatsoever that is happening. Have they ever had something to do with them and they invited you? Even their inaugurations as presidents, they don't even invite you African leaders to be part of it. So why is it that we cannot just sit together as brothers as we are, so unite? If Trump is doing everything possible to save the white South Africans, to make sure that he defends them against the blacks, why can't we just put all these things aside and unite as a people and come together? Must we sit down for people elsewhere to come to Africa and not sit us down like children to tell us what to do in this 21st century? African leaders, we are asking you. Which continent outside of Africa or nation have they ever had their issues and you have to go there and mediate? Why can't it be a different narrative? Why can't we put that selfish and greed and hatred that these people created in us towards each other aside and embrace ourselves as one people? And we have to always sit down like children for these people to always come into the continent to tell us what to do, A, B, C, D, O. Why? Russia has to sit down and know that there are people who are benefiting and there are people that are doing everything possible, giving out weapons to other Africans to cause pain to the other people. We are one people. If we can never divide these people, why have we allowed ourselves to be divided by these people all the time? What is happening in Congo can be solved by us. But because us, they are always saying, because of what other people are benefiting, nobody wants to see peace in Congo. Because the African leader always see those who are benefiting and the West that are fueling you to fight among yourself, and they are carrying the natural resources away. They don't want us to have peace, because the moment there is peace and unity among us, they have fallen. Why is it so? Are you there to govern the people, to give them peace, or to cause them pain? Are you the president of Africa, or you are a president of one specific country? Are we having African Union to be there to bring the solution, to bring peace and unity among us, or it will be there for other people to move out of wherever they are coming from to now come and sit there and be telling us what to do? No wonder everybody do not regard us, because the leaders have never portrayed themselves to the world as capable of doing anything on their own. Everything international, everything, everything. These people have been there for decades, yet Congo has never known peace. And when they are still having their summit, they have to invite these same people. When we know where the cause is coming from, even with those who are sitting outside, reports have made us to understand that there are people that are benefiting from whatsoever that is happening. And that is why there is not going to be peace. And people are doing everything possible to make sure that they will arm you against the other. Like Russia is saying, that these international sponsors should stop sponsoring, fueling the conflict, so that the people of Congo will know peace. Like, it's a pity. It's a pity that we still sit here for people to come and tell us, when you get up and you want to fight your brother, don't you feel anything? The same people that are asking you to fight among yourself, can you go in and cause that same thing? Turn them against each other? Never. These people have united. After the Berlin conference, these people have never openly come out to fight among themselves. They brought this conference because they didn't want to fight among themselves. And they have succeeded. Until date, these people, after succeeding and doing whatsoever they want to do with us, we are still helping them to have access to everything for free, just because of the ink and paper. So with all the gold, the silver and the diamond, it's not anything valuable and heavier to you. According to Russia, the mineral resources that you are taking out of Congo are blood natural resources, because there are lives that are being lost. And we have to come to a point where we will stop doing the talking as leaders and unite ourselves. We don't need anybody to come from somewhere to come and resolve our problems. Until we are able to resolve our own problems, Africa will never develop. Like what Kagame said, it's because of your own selfish interests. That's why Congo is not knowing peace. Because when there is peace, nobody will get the access to get whatsoever that they are getting from Congo. But we need Congo to be free so that Africa can be free. We want unity. We want to also feel proud being blacks, that we can sit down to resolve our own problems. We can unite, and when our brothers should even offend us, we can look into the eyes of our brothers and smile and say, and it's okay. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. So that's the latest around the world. In Russia,